Welcome you all. In this session, we will see about distance protection. So till now, we have learnt about overcurrent relays. Overcurrent relays are nothing but the relays will operate when the magnitude of the current or the power exceeds the pickup value or exceeds the predetermined value. Whereas there are another category of relays which will operate based on the ratio of the voltage and the current which is flowing through the circuit. So the ratio of voltage to current which is flowing in this circuit. So that we call it as distance relay, or we call it as impedance relay. So the protection scheme which uses these type of relays, that is a distance relay, we call it as distance protection. So V by I ratio is nothing but we know it is impedance, right? So this type of distance relays, or nothing but this impedance relay, it monitors the voltage and the current. The main working principle is the current, the torque produced by the current opposes the torque produced by the voltage, and whatever the ratio we have got, that is V by I, which is impedance, if it is less than the preset value, if the impedance what is obtained in this circuit is less than the preset value, then the relay will operate. So unlike your overcurrent relays and all, where the magnitude of the current exceeds the pickup value, the relay is going to operate. But here it is not like that. The distance or the measured impedance, if it is less than the predetermined value, then the relay is going to operate. Okay. So this particular distance protection scheme is mainly used for the protection of high voltage and extra high voltage transmission and sub-transmission lines. So this protection scheme, it uses a number of distance relays which will measure the impedance or some other components of the line impedance at the relay location. So whatever quantity is being measured, it is proportional to the line length between the location of the relay and the point where the fault has occurred. So this, wherever this overcurrent relays cannot be used, in that case we go for the distance relays. The overcurrent relays mainly has the drawback of variable reach problem, that is the distance problem. So in that case we go for this distance relays. So they have a high speed fault clearance capacity. Okay, they are used whenever this overcurrent becomes slow and there is a difficulty in grading the time overcurrent relays for complicated networks. So this particular distance protection is used for the protection of transmission and the sub-transmission lines, as I have already told you, at 220 kV, 132 kV, 66 kV and 33 kV. Sometimes it is also used for 11 kV lines. Okay, this distance protection is actually a non-unit system of protection. That means non-unit system of protection means a single protection scheme. It provides both the primary as well as backup protection. So the different types of distance relays are impedance relay, reactance relay, Moore relays, angle impedance relay, quadrilateral relays, elliptical and other conic section relays. So now we will see what is meant by an impedance relay. This figure illustrates the basic principle of operation of an impedance relay. So the voltage element of the relay is excited through a potential transformer from the line to be protected. Similarly, the current element of the relay is excited from a current transformer which is in series with the line. So the portion AB, the portion A to B is nothing but the protected zone. Okay, the impedance of this protected zone, that is from point A to point B, the measured impedance is ZL. So the particular relay is designed to operate whenever the impedance falls below ZL. Now, if we see here, there are two fault points, that is F1 and that is F2. So first we will consider the fault location, that is F1. So the impedance, whatever you measure from the relay location to the fault F1 is obviously less than ZL. That means the relay has to operate. In case a fault occurs beyond B, that is not in the protected zone, it is the another zone of the protection. Say suppose a fault occurs at F2, then the impedance obviously is greater than ZL, right? Then this particular circuit breaker will not operate. So there will be another relay which is going to operate. So this is nothing but the basic principle of working of the impedance relay. Nothing but the relay, it measures the impedance from the fault up to the relay location. So to realize the characteristics of an impedance relay, the current is compared with the voltage. Okay, the current, it produces a positive torque, we call it as operating torque, and the voltage, it produces a negative torque. So we'll write it. The current, it produces positive torque. Okay, positive torque. So this positive torque is called as the operating torque, whereas the voltage, it produces a negative torque, and this negative torque is called as restraining torque. Negative torque and positive torque. So the equation for the operating torque of an electromagnetic type relays, it can be written as T, which is torque, is equal to K1 I square minus K2 V square minus K3, where this K1, K2 and K3 are constants. K3 is the torque due to control spring effect. Okay, K3 is the torque due to control spring effect. So if we neglect the spring which is being used and the torque which is produced by that, if it is considered to be very small, then we can write the torque equation T as K1 I square minus K2 V square. For the relay to operate, the condition to be satisfied is K1 I square should be greater than K2 V square, or K2 V square should be less than K1 I square. That means to say V square by I square should be less than K1 by K2, or V by I should be less than K, where K is nothing but constant, or not, we can say that Z should be less than K. So whenever the measured impedance is less than the predetermined or preset impedance level, then the relay is going to operate. For the this is for an electromagnetic type relays. For a static type relays or a numerical based relays, I will be compared with V. Okay. For the operation of the relay, the same condition has to be satisfied. So what this Z less than K tells us, the measured value of the impedance is equal to a given constant when it is in the verge of operation. So whenever the relay measures the impedance which is less compared to the predetermined value, then it is going to operate. The operating characteristics of an impedance relay you can observe here: voltage along the x-axis and current along the y-axis. You can see two lines here, one is dotted and the other one is a solid line. With this dotted line along with this dark line here, it represents the operating characteristics of a static relay or a microprocessor based relay. Whereas near the origin you can see the line is bent, no, that solid line. It indicates the characteristics of electromagnetic relays. So that bent, what you can see here is due to the effect of the control spring. That is especially seen only in the case of electromagnetic type relays. Otherwise the characteristics will be a straight line. So this is in the case of voltage and current. Whereas if you observe one more diagram, it is called as RX diagram. RX diagram R along the x-axis and X along the y-axis, wherein you can see a circle of radius Z. So this Z is equal to K. Okay, Z is actually equal to K, which is nothing but the radius of the circle. And you can observe that the region within the circle is Z less than K. And this is Z less than K, and the region outside the circle is Z greater than K. So and you can observe the phase angle phi, which is nothing but the phase angle between the voltage and the current. So the operating characteristics is a circle, and the relay operation is independent of the phase angle phi. It depends only on the magnitude of Z. So if a fault point is on the protected section of the line, then the relay is going to operate. So for any faults within the circle, within this circle, the relay is going to operate. If a fault lies outside the circle, then the relay is not going to operate. That zone we call it as blocking zone. Okay, that is the region outside the circle, we call it as blocking zone. So if the fault lies within the circle, that is within its protected section, then the relay will operate, else the relay will not respond. So wherever is your fault location within this circle, the operating time will be same. So the operating point will be constant. In the RX diagram, we have seen that anywhere if the fault occurs within the protected zone, that is within the circle, right, the relay is going to operate. That means the characteristics is of a non-directional relay. So either the fault occurs in the forward direction or in the reverse direction, the relay is going to operate irrespective of where the location is. So now actually when we have a relay, we usually need that the relay has to operate for a force which is in the forward direction but not beyond its location. So for that, what we do is, in addition to the impedance relay, we connect a directional unit. So this for any protected zone, what we do is we have to include a directional unit along with the impedance relay. So you have 3 impedance relays and a directional unit for each zone of protection. So you can see its characteristics. So zone 1 impedance is Z1, zone 2 impedance Z2, and zone 3 impedance is Z3. So along with it you have a directional unit. So you can observe the directional relay characteristics here. So it operates for positive torque, and this is the negative torque region. And how it is connected in the impedance relay. So you can see here 3 zones of protection, Z1, Z2, Z3, along with the directional unit, and you can see the flags, and you have a timing unit. There is a circuit breaker, that is auxiliary switch. We have a seal-in relay coil. So this is the actual setup of impedance relay. And if we have one measuring unit for zone 1, that is Z1, Z2 and Z3, we decide, we set it based on the ohmic reach of the first relay. Okay, and when we consider the directional unit, we neglect again the spring effect, and the torque equation is given by T is equal to K into V into I cos phi minus alpha. So neglecting the spring effect. Phi is nothing but the angle between V and I. Alpha is the angle of maximum torque. So for the relay to operate, T should be positive. And if T should be positive, that means this KVI cos phi minus alpha should be greater than 0, or we can say that cos of phi minus alpha should be greater than 0, or phi minus alpha should be less than plus or minus 90 degree. So this directional relay, it uses 2 pairs of contacts. One pair will be placed in series with the impedance relay, and the other pair will be connected to energize the auxiliary relay. So the contacts of the auxiliary relay, when it is de-energized, it short circuits the current coil of the impedance relay. So the contacts of the auxiliary relay will be opened when the fault occurs in the forward direction. Okay, this is all about the impedance relay, its characteristics and connections of impedance relay. In the next video, we'll see the protective scheme which uses the impedance relay, how it is going to operate. Thank you.